Hi, I'm Lisa Arthur. Welcome to Better Data in 5. Today we're going to be looking at assessing our inclusive practices, how inclusive is my building or my district overall. So we're going to start by talking a little bit about a district autism team. What is a district autism team? And when I talk about a district autism team, I'm also referring to autism or students with more complex needs. We think about those students with higher support needs. So what is the purpose of this team? It's a district-wide approach to improve outcomes for students with disabilities, students with autism, and more complex needs. This team is going to put together a baseline assessment on district strengths and needs as it relates to students with autism or more complex needs. Additionally, the final goal of this team is to create that 3 to 5 year action plan for this team to build the district's capacity in serving students with high support needs. So why do we need this team, or why do we need this focus group? One, your behavior data is probably telling you that something needs to happen. Also, we're seeing more diversity in our classrooms. We're seeing more learners with those high support needs, more learners with autism. And finally, because, we want to ensure that equity and access, universal access for all of our students, that ensure that all of our students are receiving Tier 1 core instruction, the same instruction and opportunities as their non-disabled peers. So I want to start with kind of that 10,000 foot bird's eye view, looking at this team. So this team, what data is this team going to collect? We're looking at qualitative data from this focus group that's going to be evaluating and assessing these different areas as it comes to the staff, district-wide staff capacity. What are those attitudes and belief systems when it comes to inclusive education? Basically, what's our mindset? Looking at understanding those underlying characteristics of autism. Do we understand how that impacts behavior? Do we understand function-based thinking as it relates to behavior? And what about the sensory system? What's our understanding and our ability to implement evidence-based practices that help regulate and support that sensory system? We're going to look at the overall educational programming for equity and inclusion. What available resources does the district or building have? And then also, what's our current knowledge level of those evidence-based practices as it relates to students with autism or students with more complex needs? So generally, where do we find this data? Where do we find our team members? General rule of thumb is every learner across the district needs to have their voice represented at this table where assessment's going to be happening, where we're going to be looking at this data, analyzing the current needs and strengths. Is every department within the district or within the building representative? So when we think about each building, we want to make sure that each classroom has representation, meaning those general education classrooms, those inclusive classrooms, and then also think about those more restrictive LRE settings as far as self-contained classrooms. We want to make sure all of those contexts are represented when we have these discussions. Additionally, we want all departments represented. We want general educators, we want intervention specialists, we want paraprofessionals. We certainly want the speech pathologist. That person's going to play a major role on the team, as well as PT, OT. Think about your bus drivers, pretty much cafeteria workers, anybody who has any kind of interaction with students throughout the day across the district. We also need to have the school psychologist as part of the team, also the special education director or the director of student services. Other considerations for the team member selection, think about those if your district already has a trained autism identification team, which is different than your district autism team. O'Calley, in collaboration with Ruth Aspey, puts out a training that trains a team for the identification of autism. If you have that team on your district, you certainly want to have some of those members present as a part of this team. Think about those individuals who might have knowledge or understanding, experience with learners with autism. Those who are knowledgeable and have great understanding of behavior and function-based thinking as it relates to behavior. Think about those individuals who just have those natural skills, rapport building, and abilities when it comes to those kids who have the highest support needs or challenging behavior. And then also those who just have a natural interest or curiosity about autism. Finally, how are we going to get started? Right now, you can start to be thinking about those potential team members, begin creating a list of who that might be. Once you have that list, you might think of onboarding those team members. You can use this video. You can reach out to myself for more information. We can have a conversation and start thinking about the availability of that team next year to participate in about an 18 to 20 hour institute that is going to help this team conduct that needs assessment. You're going to have an action plan by the end of this 18, 20 hours. It's going to be a 3 to 5 year action plan. Also, we're going to be building the capacity of this team itself to be able to support, to be able to provide consultation for other members within the district when it comes to working with these high needs support students. Finally, if you have any more questions, think about, so are you building a new team? Are you starting from scratch here? Do you currently already have a team, but you just kind of need to reconvene because it's been a few years since that team's met, or a few years since they've had the training, or maybe you just need ongoing support. Your team has hit some obstacles that kind of slowed down, other things have taken priority, and you just kind of need support for that team right now. Again, my name's Lisa Arthur. Feel free to contact me, phone or email, and I'm more than willing to talk to you more about this. Thanks for watching.